Hello everyone, and welcome to BeamNG Drive. Now, you may be slightly mistaken for thinking that this is a photograph right now, because today I am showing you the most impressive mod that Beam has ever seen. It is this, the Hirochi CCF. Now, just to start off with, the elephant in the room, this thing looks gorgeous. It is stunning looking, it looks realistic, it looks, the proportions are good, it has all of the details that a real life car would. It's incredible. Now as I take the camera around here just to make sure that you can see it in all of its dynamic reflection beauty, this paint, the proportions, the details, it's just incredible. And this might be one of the very few Beam mods I could literally 100% believe be a real car, that it would be on sale today. This is a current model year vehicle. It looks amazing. I mean, look at this. You've got the details in the headlights. It's got the ADAS system cameras behind the windscreen. If you move inside, it's got stickers down here for the roof storage. If you go into the trunk, you can see it's very dark. Then you put your foot under here to unlock it, and the light turns on, because of course it does. The quality on this vehicle truly baffles me. I mean, this is the new standard of an amazing Beam mod, which makes me feel a bit bad for all the Beam modders, because it is going to be very hard for anything ever to live up to this. But this thing is more than just a pretty face. If we move in here into this lovely kind of beige interior with what looks to be wood as well, you'll see that it has a lot of details in here, a lot of very pretty details, but it's also a nice sounding car. So we're going to take this thing out for a little trip, and I'm going to show you the different configs available, and to the best of my abilities, basically everything that this mod has to offer. But first, it seems a little cramped in here. Maybe I should put the roof down. Oh yeah. The roof goes down, and it's manual. It latches at the back, then you can unlatch it and put it back up again. Maybe we'll have the windows down as well. This mod has that. What do you mean? Does every mod not have that? Put the traction control into street. Now I know what you're thinking. Is this just a very, very pretty car that doesn't drive well? Because there have been a lot of things like that in the Beam community before. They're often referred to as mesh slaps, where it's a vehicle that has a very, sometimes a very good looking model, maybe from another game. This is all scratch made, and then when you go to actually drive it, it's just awful. It uses different vehicles handling parts and crashes badly, and it's just generally a poor mod. Yeah, this... Did you hear what that was? That was automatic braking. The car just saved me from having a crash. Do you see that? Where I went to go past? Let me try and... Oh! It's a little cross with the way I'm driving here. If I go past this car, there's a blind spot monitor. But yes, as I was saying, does this thing... Right, well, I'm not sure that was entirely fair on my part. I don't know how I was supposed to predict that a vehicle would appear in front of me. Still drives though. Still drives well. But yes, as I was saying, does it drive well? Does it crash well? Well, if you could see how I'm chucking this thing around right now, you could probably imagine, yes, it does drive brilliantly. It's fun, it's chuckable, the suspension is soft enough that it has some body roll, it's controllable, but it also, it doesn't lose control, it doesn't go bouncing everywhere. This feels like how a modern sports car mod in Beam should. It feels distinctly different from the other vehicles of, you know, a similar niche, stuff like the K series. That thing feels a lot stiffer. This is almost, you know, it very much communicates to you this is a budget sports car. It's no supercar. The safety systems, much like in real life, can get a little annoying sometimes. You can turn them off. I will do so now. There we go, everything disabled. And you'll see it do a little slide there. It is chuckable. It is so chuckable. That is the best word to describe this thing. It is an absolute delight to drive. I mean, if this is what an ND MX-5 handles like in real life, I understand why so many people buy them. And I think they look good, and I've wanted one for a while. But if this is how well they drive... Ow. Well, since we have arrived here, I'm going to grab a different config. We will have a look at something else. Let's go just park up here. I wonder how close to that wall I am. Oh, the parking sensors are telling me that I've still got a little bit to go. That's probably close enough, right? Oh, yeah, just about. Now, if you know about stuff like the, I believe it's called the Evo RS, or the R model of the GT86, I think those are the correct names, you will know that in Japan, often models of performance cars are sold, like base model performance ones, that are sold to race teams or to people to go and modify them. And this is no exception. As you can see, it has steel wheels and some unpainted trim, and if you go inside, absolutely no infotainment screen. Nothing at all. You don't need it. Why would you need GPS? This thing's going on a track anyway. Oopsies. But what if you say you want a sports car, but you also care a lot about the environment? Well, you should probably not do that. But yes, this car has an answer for that as well. There is an electric model, which, you know what, I will admit, for someone who is not a massive fan of electric cars, this thing is also a lot of fun to drive. You can feel that it has more weight, and the instant torque is a bit strange sometimes, but it is chuckable. It's fun to fling around. It's one of the more enjoyable electric cars I've driven in this game, which isn't saying all that much, to be completely honest, but yeah, this is good fun. Now, if you do go download this mod for yourself, you'll be able to see on the repo page a hell of a lot of different colours and wheels and interior combinations. But I think my favourite on the stock configs from the ones that I've looked at so far is this, the Classic Edition. You can see that it has a little badge for that down there, with a number on it. It has these kind of Porsche Dakar-inspired wheels and the Houndstooth interior, which I always love. I don't believe it's actually any faster than the regular 210. But it does look the business. Oh, safety systems. Keep thinking I'm going to have a crash. You have no faith in me. No faith whatsoever. But I think you're probably wondering, how does it fare in a head-on collision? That wasn't really a head-on collision. That was more of a side-on collision. Wow, that actually doesn't seem phased at all. That came off incredibly well. Should we have a proper head-on collision now? Ow. They did quite well, actually. No real spiking. It's taken the damage well. Oh god, it even still drives and everything. Wow. Very impressive. Oh, that's damaged it a little bit more, but it does still drive. This thing is sturdy, a lot sturdier than I expected. Now, if we have a look at the configs page here, these are the ones that we've been checking out so far. These are mainly just variants on the 190 and the 210, which are the same engine, there's not much different. But here, we're going to move up to the 226. And what you may notice by the slightly different engine note, in fact, an extremely different engine note, is that this thing has a flat 6. That's right, this is more than just your average MX-5. This is stepping up into like Boxster territory now, you know, with a flat 6 performance model. Oh! Now it's not... Stop telling me I'm going to crash. I know I'm going to crash. I want to crash. These safety systems can get irritating, but you can turn them off. Now this base flat 6 one only has 10 more horsepower than the previous flat 4 that we were looking at, but it delivers that power quite differently. It's got higher redline, it seems a lot smoother. I really enjoy it, and that cam kind of changeover, really pronounced, sounds really, really good. Oh, the water! I've never aquaplaned so violently in this game before, especially not in a modern car with traction control. That was very, very violent. Now, if we have a look under the hood here, you can see the flat 6 engine model slightly different, and all of the rest of the accompanying stuff down here, and the stickers, the coolant reservoir, all of that. Even if we have a look down here, you can see there's the radiator through the grill. It's quite difficult to see, but like it's all properly see-through. It makes sense where it would take in all of the air. Now this model says in its description that it is the ultimate flat 4 CCF, and you know what? I can see why. This is the Sunrise First Edition. It's well, I guess it's meant to be the first edition. Has more horsepower, 240, which is very impressive. Has some HTI, which is the Hirochi Tuning International, I guess, if it's the same as STI. It has this really cool stripe on the side, some exclusive badging. A little lip down the front. Now most of these models have pretty similar handling. I'm not saying that's a criticism, just an observation really. They're all a lot of fun to drive. Can I duck through here? Yes, I can. This weaving through traffic in this thing is a hell of a lot of fun. It seems to just have near limitless grip, and the way that engine revs, it's intoxicating. Don't pull out! Ooh. That was a bit brutal. Jesus! Wow. That hurt. That hurt a lot. I mean, it took it well, even in first person. You know, the roof line hasn't gone down all that much. It took the exit pretty well, but God, that was a hefty crash. Wow, look before you pull out in future, people. But now we're out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I kind of can't be asked to drive all the way up that road to get back to the rest of the map. So instead, I'm going to go off-road, because this is the dune. Now, it doesn't take a genius to gather what this has been inspired by, but it's more than just, you know, putting an off-road body kit and some lifted shocks. When you look at this thing closer, you'll realise that almost every panel on it is unique. I mean, maybe apart from the doors and the hood, you know, it's got different bumpers, it's all moulded in, it looks professional, it looks like it came from the factory like this. very much becoming a guilty pleasure of mine. It also has selectable four-wheel drive and locking diffs, and suspension that can handle that. I mean, the bumper's falling off a little bit, but the car itself isn't broken yet. Can I get through these trees somewhere? Hello? That wasn't me that broke there. The traction control still getting quite cross at me. Well, no, it's not even traction control, is it? It's safety gubbins. Let's put it into crawl mode. That'll probably turn that off. Maybe all-wheel drive as well? Now, all of this is obviously selectable from that little panel down there in the interior. You really think that this mod wouldn't have that as an option? Come on, you have little faith. Then I may be a little stuck here, or maybe not. Maybe I can get through here. Sorry about the clutch, but not all that much I could really do. I guess I could put it into low range. That would help the clutch. Yeah, I think I may be a little stuck here unless I just start ploughing through trees. Oh, ploughing through trees works. Never mind. But what if this just isn't capable enough? You just want something that's a bit more off-roadable? That's a word, right? Then your answer would be this, the Country Arctic. Doesn't take much of a genius to guess what this thing is, I guess, designed for. Now, this is a flat 6 model. It also is four-wheel drive. It has the rest of the country stuff from the Dune, but this is kind of a more upmarket, well, I guess, made for conquering the Arctic. Now, obviously, you wouldn't take this, you know, up a rock crawling course. You'd probably tear up the underside completely. But, you know, much like the real-life 911 Dakar... Ow! Yep, see, rocks, not friendly with this thing. Much like with a real 911 Dakar, most of these would probably never be driven off-road anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, when you get onto the road, you have an all-wheel drive CCF, albeit heavier than the normal one by 100 kilos or so, but it is an all-wheel drive CCF. That is something that none of the other trims, as far as I'm aware, get. Bit understeery though. It's not, you know, with these tyres, these are kind of off-road tyres, it's not exactly made for driving quickly, but it can do it if you ask very nicely, and then it can just drive off-road. I love this. You see, if I was making this mod, I never would have thought, oh yeah, we'll make an off-road variant. Yeah, that's something that this thing would suit. But with the amount of effort that's gone into it, it does suit it. It does suit it a lot. God, this car is handsome. So if fog lights work? Oh, of course they do. Oh, and I have rear fogs as well. How very, safe and legal. Now, we've just checked out these, but the next one we have is this, the 246S, which is the top of the line, basically. And as you can see, it comes with this kind of aero kit, this black kit that you can see at the bottom, as well as the little spoiler. It has a rear light bar as well. But this is basically the top of the line sportiest one. I don't like the back wheels. I never like back wheels. I think they look cheap on any car, really. But as far as top trim models go, there's not all that much difference, but it is very quick. So it does have that going for it. I mean, whoa. See, the thing I love about the suspension, when I first started checking this thing out, I gave it some driving as a test, and I thought, oh, this is too soft, it's going to be too wallowy. But then you have situations like that where if it was as stiff as, say, a normal supercar, it would just chuck you, you know, it would try and kill you when you try and do things like this. Whoa! Look where you're moving, moron. You know, it would try and... Right, well now I feel like the moron. But yes, if it was... Whoa! There's that section there. Quite bad for hydroplaning, funnily enough. But if the suspension was as stiff as a supercar, it would be so much less forgiving, and I think that is the point of a chuckable sports car. Even if it is, you know, 240 horsepower, this would keep up with a lot of ETK K-Series, which is a vehicle that I imagine costs a hell of a lot more. But that's because, like, this is still an everyday sports car. This is still something that I imagine is designed so that you could have it as an only car if you didn't have many space commitments. Damn, that took it. This thing took it like a champ. I mean, obviously it's damaged, but glass didn't break. I'm sure the door would still open. Oh, the door does not still open. Bad mark there. I mean, it does if I pull it a little bit. Is it shut? No. Well, even then, still very safe. This next model is basically the 240-6S that we just checked out, but electric. Which, you know, it has more power, but it also, I would imagine, weighs quite a bit more. I imagine this is fun for the right kind of person. I think it would be a laugh to drive around. It's just that, to me, somewhat defeats the purpose. Right, well, it just tried to kill me, which is a little bit awkward. Now, I believe it is a bug that results in this thing not having traction control, hence why it does keep trying to murder me. So hopefully that will be fixed at some point within the near future. It's actually quite fun to slide around. I've realised now I haven't actually yet looked at the electric drivetrain on this thing, because I'm not sure what I'm going to see when I lift that up. Ah! So there's a frunk, and then I'm guessing all the actual electric motor stuff is down below. Does this thing like front? So that's the motor, and the batteries are on the floor, and then there's like a torque tube. No, it's a torque tube like differential thing, sending it to the back. So it is actually front engine rear wheel drive, despite being electric. That's bizarre. That must mean better weight distribution. I thought this was going to be like, you know, a motor per wheel. Sorry, a motor per wheel or something like most modern electric cars or electric sports cars are. But I guess they've gone for this to make it better weight distribution? Impacts the handling less? I don't know. It's a bit of a strange choice. I don't know if any real car manufacturers actually do it, but it's interesting to see that this is the decision that they've gone with, and that obviously it's been made to look extremely realistic in there. I mean, you know, you saw the detail when I was flying my camera through the belly of the car. But I was just thinking to myself, it's a little bit of a shame that the fastest variant of this very, very cool sports car is electric. It's a little bit disappointing, you know. I understand that electric cars are normally very fast, but it's a bit of a shame that such a lightweight sports car would have an electric variant as its quickest. At least it would until the final year of production with this, the Sunset Final Edition. And this paint job and the colour and everything, it just looks like it was designed entirely for me. I love it. Sorry, making the car cross. I love this stripe on the side. This is so me. And the paint colour, this very dark purple. The interior is brown. It's not black. I don't like black interiors, but brown is better. I was honking at him as if it wasn't completely my fault there. This thing is lovely. 280 horsepower. Under control, 280 horsepower, fastest CCF there is, 6-speed manual box. This might be the perfect, ultimate CCF. And I love it. This is a suitable send-off for the final edition. Once again, very strong car. I mean, the first person camera, it doesn't really look damaged in here in the interior. It's really well made. My bonnet cam has left the building. Now that was all of the factory configs. Obviously, I'm afraid I just do not have time to look at absolutely everything. If you want to go, please download the mod for yourself. But as you can see, there are quite a few different variants. aftermarket stuff. There's this, like a pre-production one in camouflage they use to disguise the shape of the car. This vehicle has like custom interior stuff that covers up the badges and all that. It's really cool. We also have a couple of police cars, including the Cumbria, don't laugh, Constabulary. Very, very cool. Look at this, it's proper police livery with like lights in the front and on the roof. But we are going to take a look at a couple, which is going to start off with this, the Off-Roadster. Now, while the country models that we checked out previously were kind of factory, light off-roader vehicles, this is not. This is crazy. I mean, look at all of this. It's mad. Look at that wide body and the front bumper and everything. That angle of approach. Let's run that back again. This did not scrape. It did not scrape with that angle. And it has a snorkel and... Wow! This thing is nuts. Now this also has a hard top, which none of the ones we've checked out, I believe it's an aftermarket hard top, hence why. What a beast! Now I don't know how capable this thing would be, because it's not based on one of the country models, it's just based on a regular 220, I believe. So I don't know how capable this thing would be not having locking diffs and low range, and I don't even know if it's all-wheel drive, to be honest. If it is, it's not selectable. But over stuff like this, imagine these were sand dunes in the middle of Africa doing the Paris-Dakar rally, it's just bounding across it without a care. I mean, all of these jumps are pretty tough, especially for a little roadster, and it is just fine. Even that big one, it scraped slightly, still driving fine, still drives mostly straight. Front left, it's not fine, it's not actually fine now that I look at it. But it's still moving. Right. Well, that was an invisible flaw. I'm not sure the car can be blamed for that. Look at that underside, though, the undertray. Imagine how much effort went into making this, both modelling it and... Look at the scrapes and all the scratches. Wow. Wow is all I can say. Now, the next one I wanted to check out was the Turbo, because... I realised while I was spawning this in and having a look through some of the parts that the detail on this, again, as if with everything in this mod, is just another level. I mean, it's a turbo swap, right? So it's taken the standard flat 4 and added the turbo to it. Have a look through here. So there's the intake, there's the radiator, there's the intercooler. This custom bumper has, the bits cut out so it has more airflow. Then you pop open the hood. And look at the piping. So there's the turbo on top, because it's a flat 4. And it all goes down into the barrels of the engine. Has a custom radiator. And then this behind it. I mean, it just floors me. The level of detail that have been put into things that most people will not see or will not be looking at. It almost feels a shame, but... I mean, I respect the fact that it's been done, but there are going to be so many people that download this and think, oh, it's a cool looking car, and don't realise just how much effort has been put into it. Also, while I spawned this, I was trying to open the roof, messing around the node grabber. I found out you can do this. You can move the mirror, and it actually moves the reflection. I mean, it doesn't work perfectly because this is Beam and stuff gets broken. But you can move the mirror around without it falling straight off. Oh yeah, you can also turn on the interior light, because of course you can. But yeah, this one is turbo. It has 450 horsepower. It is very lethal. This is an extremely dangerous vehicle to drive. It definitely feels like it's trying to kill me at all moments. I mean, I know that real life... Yeah, you see, now it's succeeded in killing me, actually. I know that real-life Subarus without turbos are often said to be gutless, but this is a different type of flat 4. Like, this isn't a slow flat 4 without a turbo. This is a nice, high-revving, good engine, and then they put a turbo on it, which makes it completely lethal. I mean, it has enough power as is, and then it gets on boost, and it just kicks you in the back. I'm sliding off a cliff. Sorry. Now, I do have to say, in the interest of fairness and keeping everything transparent, this mod is not completely perfect, and especially some of the systems that have been added to it, you know, some of the driving, I believe they call it driving dynamics, and the safety systems, have caused my game to have a few crashes for seemingly no reason. I turned the engine on once during this recording, and the game crashed. I've no idea why. So it's a bit bizarre. It's not entirely fixed, but then again, these are systems that the game does not officially support. You know, these have been engineered from the ground up. I've had an accident. Also, distracting to let's not talk about me having an accident. When you put on a custom intake, the check engine light turns on. Again, if that didn't have it, nobody would complain, but they've added it anyway because they're complete madmen. Also, let's have a look at this screen here, the nav screen. Notice how it doesn't have any of these blue things when you hover over it that normally activate stuff, you know. But it still is interactable. You can still click on it, and it changes the map. I mean, how crazy is this? What? I don't even know how they did that. I didn't know that was a thing that was possible. Oh, I've stalled. It's telling me that there's a light out as well. That is very true. Now also, if I set the time to night time and then put my headlights on, I have headlights. Very cool, you must be thinking. Wow, I have discovered headlights. What will I be shocked by next? The presence of, I don't know, indicators. But if you have a look in the gauge cluster just to the left of the speedo and the tacho, you will see there's the icon for side lights, there's the icon for headlights, because I turned the headlights on. It turns on the high beams. That wasn't me. The car did that. And then it notices that there's a vehicle in front, and it turns them off. And then, once I do a reckless emerge and pull straight out, and almost have a crash, there is no one in front, it turns the high beams back on. The car appears, it turns them off. Yeah, what? Like, what? No high beams? Oh. And then if I drive past these guys, they turn on. And they turn on, like, they kind of shift up as well. It's weird. It's like it's got pop-up lights or something. And I turn around here, it notices that their car's in this direction, turns them off. Crazy. Now the final model that we're going to check out now for this video is this, the CCF Cup. And, you know, just look, I don't have to tell you what this is based off. This is based off an MX-5 Cup car. But the interior is insane. Like, this is nuts, right? I'm not the only person thinking this. Like, the detail, the strapping, the nets, you know, it's all completely custom. The dashboard, the shifter. I mean, I want to do a one-make race of these things. That'd be brilliant. Has no ABS, no traction control, nothing. It is just made for racing. I'm just envisioning how much fun it would be to get a grid of these on BeamNG and thrash them around some tracks. This is a brilliant experience being here with this, with the transmission wide and all the sounds, and watching everything shift around slightly because it's not all completely static. And then I'm going to have the experience of having a massive car accident. Ah, hello wall. That actually wasn't too bad. I mean, it probably hurt, but it wasn't all that dramatic. Where did my wheel go? I've no idea. Well, that was a pretty, well, the most concise look I could possibly muster at the Hirochi CCF. We're going to move on to the big cliff and hope the game holds it together while I chuck 6 of these down it. So, as I'm sure you have come to expect with this, I have built myself a custom model that I'm absolutely in love with. It's nothing much special. It's just a flat 6 with some suspension and an interior and some wheels, but I love it. And also, if you put on the custom intake, you can see it all the way down here. The cone filter, it goes all the way up through the engine. It's beautiful. But I've tried to tried to grab some different versions. But we're going to open our roof and try and open our roof. I've turned off all the electrics, so hopefully the game is not too unhappy with me for what I'm trying to do to it. But we will see. Either way, let's move up to here. And then we will ask them all to flee. Some different engine notes playing now. So we have an electric one, we have a country, the off-roadster, a cup, and then the complete base model. Oh, okay, it's under control, we're under control. Oh, there's two having a crash, there's two having a massive crash up ahead. Somebody's rolling. Oh, that's a big crash, that's a big crash. I'm keeping it under control, I'll keep it under control. Oh, the off-roadster is exploded into a trillion pieces and is on fire, and I'm going to collect it if I'm not careful. Oh, I've gone for a roll. No, I was doing quite well until then. I don't think I make it. I think I grit rolled there. That's quite rare. So the base model's gone. Electric is squashed. But the country is making it, and in fact has made it, basically completely undamaged. Off-roadster detonated, nothing left. You're very loud. That was the turbo. The cup car made it as well. I'm really, I just got a twitch on and couldn't gather it back together. But that is basically completely undamaged for this thing. Wow, that is impressive. I mean, you know, the bonnet, okay, it's all kind of shifted around here. It obviously had a whack on the bumper somewhere, but not bad. Not bad at all. Well, that has been it for this video. That was the Hirochi CCF. The mod is linked down in the description. I would 100% recommend you go check it out. Yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and take care. Bye-bye. Do whatever you're doing somewhere else, please. What? I actually don't understand.